When Captain Reynolds stepped onto the alien station, he felt a mix of awe and unease. The station floated like a pearl in the dark sea of space. Its hull was painted in shifting blues and silvers that reflected the distant sun. He glanced at the name etched on the docking bay wall in unfamiliar script. He did not know this station or its people. He was here on orders from the Earth fleet, but he had no idea what to expect as he walked down the narrow corridor. His boots made a soft sound on the polished floor. Around him, aliens of many shapes moved with quiet purpose. Some had long limbs that curved like branches. Others had small bodies but large, shining eyes. Each one carried items of strange technology. The air smelled faintly of metal and sweet spice. Reynolds reached the meeting hall and paused at the entrance. A tall door slid open with a low hiss. Inside, the space opened into a wide chamber filled with living plants. Vines climbed the walls, and gentle water trickled from small fountains. Soft lights glowed from hidden sources, but they were not bright or harsh. The room felt peaceful, as if nature and technology had found harmony. At the center stood a figure who made Reynolds stop short. She was small, barely half his height, with smooth, pale skin that caught the light. Her eyes were large and green, full of warmth. She wore a simple robe that shimmered like moonlight on water. When she saw him, she smiled broadly. "Welcome, Captain Reynolds," she said in clear, musical tones. Reynolds felt surprise. Her voice carried no echo of threat or ceremony. It sounded friendly, almost playful. He cleared his throat and stepped forward. "Thank you," he replied. He offered a polite bow learned from ancient Earth customs. It felt awkward, but he hoped it showed respect. The small alien laughed softly. "You do not need to bow so deeply," she said with a gentle laugh. "Here, we greet with open hearts." She reached out and placed her hand on his arm. The touch was light but steady. Reynolds felt a calm settle over him. She guided him through the hall to a curved bench woven from living vines. They sat together, and she motioned for him to relax. "Lixia," she said, "I will be your partner during your stay. The council has decided you need a guide and companion. We believe this bond will bring peace and friendship." Reynolds blinked. A guide, he expected. A companion, he did not. "I thank you," he stammered. He looked around, confused by the idea of a partner assigned without his consent. On Earth, such bonds were personal. Here, it seemed a duty. Lixia leaned forward, her green eyes shining. "Do not worry. Bond in our culture means support. We help each other learn and grow. You help us understand your people. We help you know ours. You will not be alone." Reynolds studied her face. He saw no threat, only sincerity. He nodded slowly. "I appreciate that." Lixia smiled again and waved a hand. A small servant drone hovered over them with a tray of fruits and tea. The tea was a pale, glowing liquid that smelled of mint and honey. The fruits were round and soft, like Earth peaches, but tinted with blue. Reynolds accepted a cup. He sipped. It tasted sweet and cool, refreshing his dry throat. He offered a piece of fruit to Lixia. She took it and nibbled with delight. "So," she said, "tell me about Earth." Reynolds hesitated. He had been trained to speak about his home world with pride and caution. He chose simple words. "Earth is a planet of water and land. Many creatures live there. Humans build cities and travel in ships like yours. We have art and music. We have challenges too. We fight sometimes." Lixia nodded. "That is much like our world. We have beauty and struggle. We have learned that friendship can ease struggle." She paused. "Do you like it here so far?" He glanced around. The station was unlike any human outpost he had seen. The living walls made him feel alive. The soft water sounds relaxed him. He realized he felt more open than he had in months. "Yes," he admitted. "It is peaceful." Lixia's smile grew. "Good. I will show you more. There is a garden beyond this hall, and a place where you can rest comfortably. But first, the council wishes to greet you formally this evening." She stood and offered him her hand. "Will you walk with me?" Reynolds stood and took her hand. It was small but warm. As they walked out of the hall together, he felt the weight of his mission shift. He had come as a military officer to survey and negotiate. Now he walked beside a friend he had not chosen, but who seemed eager to share her world. Through the corridor windows, he saw the vastness of space. Stars winked in the darkness. Below, the station's lights shone like a beacon, he realized. His journey had changed already. He did not know what tomorrow would bring, but with Lixia by his side, he felt a spark of hope, and so began Captain Reynolds' stay among the small alien people. A bond formed not by command, but by kindness and curiosity. He wondered how this bond would shape the fate of both their worlds. For now, he walked forward, hand in hand with his unexpected companion, ready to learn what lay ahead. As the soft lights of the corridor guided their steps, Captain Reynolds followed Lixia through the living station, the vines on the walls gently. It swayed with a breeze that didn't come from any fan. The air here felt alive, fresh, and full of quiet energy. Everything around him pulsed with a soft rhythm like the station itself had a heartbeat. "This is the Eastern Passage," Lixia said with a cheerful tone. "It leads to the dwellings." "Ours is not far." "Ours?" Reynolds asked, raising an eyebrow. She nodded. "Yes, as partners, we share space. That is our way." He slowed his steps. "I didn't agree to live with anyone." Lixia stopped and turned to face him. Her voice became soft. "You can choose. But the council thought this would help you. Understand us faster, of course. If you are uncomfortable, I will ask for a change." Reynolds looked at her face. Her expression held no pressure, only care. For a moment, he felt something unusual, someone genuinely wanting him to feel safe. He nodded slowly. "No, it's fine. Let's see it first." They reached a round door made of smooth, silver-like metal. It opened with a soft hum. Inside was a warm, glowing room that looked nothing like his quarters back on Earth's warships. The floor was covered with soft, moss-like carpet. On one side, a curved wall opened into a gentle waterfall that flowed into a small pool. The furniture seemed grown, not built. A table looked like it had risen naturally from the floor. "You live here?" he asked. "Yes," Lixia said. "And now, so do you. I made space for your things. My things." She walked over to a small chest. "Your ship sent some items ahead. Uniforms, books, personal tools. I placed them here." He followed, crouched down, and opened the chest. Sure enough, his folded uniforms sat neatly on top of his old journal and a photo of his sister back home. Something about seeing that picture in this strange place made his chest tighten. "Thank you," he said quietly. Lixia smiled. "You're welcome." They spent some time unpacking. Lixia showed him how the bed adjusted to human sleep positions. The soft vines responded to voice commands and turned into shelves or cushions. Everything was built to comfort and adapt. After a while, Lixia walked over to a wall and pressed her hand against a pattern. A tray rose from the floor, holding 2 bowls. "You must be hungry," she said. "This is called fellow root stew. It's warm and helps calm the body after travel." Reynolds sat at the table and took a careful spoonful. It tasted earthy but pleasant, like sweet potatoes mixed with herbs. They ate in silence for a while, then Lixia spoke again. "Why did you join your space force?" Reynolds looked up. "My father was in the fleet. He died during a border conflict. I wanted to serve, to protect others like he did." Lixia's expression softened. "I'm sorry about your father. That is a brave reason," he nodded. "What about you? What made you become a partner?" "It is my family duty," she said. "My mother helped form the first bonds between our kind and others. Now I follow her steps, not because I was told to, but because I want to help our world stay peaceful." He studied her, small, gentle, always smiling, and yet there was something steady behind her words, a strength that didn't need loyalness. After the meal, Lix showed him the garden chamber connected to their dwelling. It was lit by soft orbs and full of colorful plants that gave off quiet hums. Some glowed faintly, others released scents that reminded him of rain on Earth. "This is my favorite place," Lixia said, walking barefoot on the soft path. "It helps me think." Reynolds followed, hands in his pockets. "It's peaceful." "Not what I expected in a space station," she smiled. "We believe living things should not be separated from life." They sat by a small pond. Tiny creatures swam under the surface, casting glowing trails. "Do you think this assignment will work?" Reynolds asked after a long pause. Lixia tilted her head. "Do you mean us?" "Yes, I think. It will depend on how honest we are, and how much we try to understand each other. We may be different, but we can learn." Reynolds looked at her. The stars above shone through the transparent ceiling. This place felt nothing like home, but something about it, and about her, made him feel like he could breathe more freely than he had in years. He nodded. "Then let's try." Lixia smiled wide, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "Yes, let's try." The next morning, soft sunlight filtered through the high ceiling of the alien station's dome. It was not real sunlight, of course, but a carefully designed blend of warmth and brightness that mimicked a gentle morning on Lixia's homeworld. Captain Reynolds woke slow. Why? Surprised by how well he had slept on the mossy bed. The soft air, the quiet hum of the vines, and the steady rhythm of water flowing nearby had given him a kind of peace he hadn't felt in months. He got dressed in his Earthfleet uniform, The dark blue cloth felt stiff compared to the comfort of the alien robe Lixia had offered him the night before. But today was not for comfort. It was for duty. The council had arranged a formal gathering, and he had to represent humanity with respect and strength. Lixia was already waiting at the door, dressed in a flowing silver robe that shimmered like water under starlight. She smiled when she saw him. "You look ready, Captain." He gave a small nod. "Thank you. And you look ... official." She laughed lightly. "That's the idea." Together they walked through the winding corridors, past soft glowing plants and other alien beings who nodded in greeting. Some smiled at Reynolds, others simply watched him with curiosity. He was the only human here, and they had never seen someone quite like him. When they reached the Grand Council chamber, the doors slid open to reveal a wide, circular hall. It was filled with beings from different species. Some were tall and thin, others round and short. Some floated, some walked on many legs. They sat on curved benches made of smooth stone and pulsing roots. At the center of the room was a raised platform, and on it stood 7 council members, each one older, wiser, and more decorated than the others in the hall. They wore long robes, and their faces showed calm, thoughtful expressions. Lixia guided Reynolds forward. He stepped onto the platform beside her, standing straight and still. Whispers filled the room, and the glow of the chamber dimmed slightly as the main speaker rose. "Honored guests," the speaker said in a calm voice, "today we welcome Captain Reynolds of Earth. He has been assigned a bondmate from our people as a gesture of trust and unity. We now ask that he speak." Reynolds looked at the silent crowd. He felt the weight of every eye on him. He took a breath and began. "Thank you for welcoming me," he said. "I came here with orders, not knowing what I would find. But from the moment I arrived, I have been shown kindness, respect, and care. Your ways are different, but they are full of purpose. I do not know everything yet, but I'm willing to learn." The council members nodded slowly. One of them asked, "And what of your bondmate? Do you accept the connection?" He glanced at Lixia, standing beside him with her hands folded in peace. He thought of her laughter, her bravery, and her quiet strength. "Yes," he said clearly, "I accept it." A soft wave of light passed through the chamber, a sign of approval among their people. Some of the council members smiled, others looked pleased, but not everyone. A taller alien near the back of the room rose. He wore a dark robe with a blue crest. "With respect," he said loudly, "how can we trust one who comes from a world? Humans are known to fight first and ask later. How do we know he will not turn against us?" The room fell silent. Reynolds stood tall. "We are not perfect," he said, "but we are more than just fighters. We build, we heal, we grow. I have seen war. I don't want more of it. I came here for peace." Before the tall alien could respond, Lixia stepped forward. Her voice was calm but firm. "I chose to accept this bond, and I trust Captain Reynolds. If you doubt him, then you doubt me." The tall alien paused, then slowly sat down. The chamber remained silent for a moment longer. Then the council leader spoke again. "We have heard enough. The bond is acknowledged. Let peace guide it." After the meeting, Lixia and Reynolds walked back to their quarters in silence. Finally, Reynolds spoke. "Thank you for speaking up." She looked up at him. "You didn't need my help. You spoke with truth. But still, it matters that we stand together." He nodded. "You really believe in this bond?" "I believe in what we can build," she replied softly. As they stepped into the soft light of their shared room, Reynolds felt something new stir in his chest. Not duty, not caution, something warmer, more human. Perhaps this assignment wasn't just about peace between worlds. Perhaps it was about something more, something personal. And maybe, just maybe, he was ready for it. The sun-like light above the alien station dimmed gently, marking the start of the rest period. Most of the halls became quieter as beings returned to their homes. Inside their shared quarters, Captain Reynolds sat beside the small pond, looking at the soft glow of the fish below. Lixia knelt nearby, feeding them small leaf bits that floated. "On the surface, they only eat at this time," Lixia said with a soft voice. "They know the light means safety." Reynolds nodded, his thoughts elsewhere. "Do you think your people really trust me now?" he asked. Lixia looked at him. "Some do, others will need time. Trust grows slowly, like the roots of a tree." He gave a small smile. "You always talk like that." She smiled back. "Only when I want someone to listen." Suddenly, a low, sharp alarm echoed through the station. The lights turned red, and the peaceful hum of the garden changed into a deep, warning tone. Reynolds stood at once, already alert. Lixia jumped to her feet too, her expression turning serious. "What is it?" he asked. I don't know, she said, but that sound means danger. They rushed into the corridor where others were already moving quickly. Some aliens were guiding children and elders toward safe chambers. Reynolds spotted a security officer nearby, tall, armored, and armed. He stepped in front of him. What's going on? Reynolds asked. Pirates, the officer replied. A group of them breached the outer docking rings. They're trying to reach the core systems. Reynolds clenched his jaw. What do you need me to do? The officer hesitated. You're not one of us. Before he could say more, Lixia stepped forward. He is one of us. And he's a trained soldier. The officer studied Reynolds, then nodded. Follow me. Reynolds turned to Lixia. You should stay here, but... She shook her head. No, I'm coming with you. Together they moved through the station toward the defense lines. Reynolds was given a compact alien weapon. It felt strange in his hand, but familiar enough. The halls near the outer ring were darker, full of flickering lights and the sounds of distant fighting. Soon they reached a sealed blast door. Behind it, pirates were trying to cut through. The defenders had set up shields and cover. Reynolds took a spot beside a short, wide alien who handed him more energy cells. When they break through, the defender said, we hold them here. Reynolds nodded. Minutes passed like hours. Then sparks flew, and the blast door cracked open. Armed figures in dark suits poured in, shouting in a language Reynolds didn't know. The fight began. Reynolds moved fast, aiming carefully, using every skill he had learned during his years in battle. He protected the defenders at his side, covering their blind spots, guiding their movements. He fought not like an outsider but like a leader. Beside him, Lixia used a small energy blade and shield. She darted forward and protected a wounded medic, pulling them to safety. Her face was calm, focused, and brave. As the pirates pushed forward, Reynolds noticed one of them reaching for a control panel that could open another access point. If they got through there, the pirates would reach the central systems. I'll stop him. Reynolds shouted. He dashed from cover, sliding across the floor and knocking the pirate back with a powerful kick. The pirate crashed into a wall, dropping his device. Reynolds picked it up and crushed it with his boot. More defenders arrived, and finally, the pirates began to fall back. A loud alarm rang again, this time signaling retreat. The attackers turned and fled the way they came, leaving behind broken equipment and their wounded. Reynolds leaned against a wall, breathing hard. His arm was scraped, and his shoulder hurt, but he was still standing. Lixia ran to him. Are you hurt? Just a little, he said. You fought like a warrior of my people, she said with pride in her voice. I fought like someone who finally belongs somewhere, he replied. Back at the main station, the council sent messages of gratitude. The defenders who had once doubted him now nodded in respect when they saw him later that night. As Reynolds sat in the garden again, Lixia brought him tea. They sat side by side in the soft glow of the pond. You didn't have to fight, Lixia said. You could have stayed back. I wanted to, he answered, because this place, and you, matter to me. She looked down, then smiled, gently. Then maybe you are more than just a partner. Maybe you are something more. Reynolds didn't answer. He just reached out and placed his hand gently over hers. And in the silence between them, trust grew quietly, deeply, like the roots of a tree. The station's repair drones hummed through the night, sealing hull cracks and clearing scorched panels where pirate fire had blackened the metal. In the dim glow of emergency strips, Captain Reynolds and Lixia moved with a medical team, helping lift wounded defenders onto hovering stretchers. The chaos of battle had faded, but its echoes lingered in every hiss of escaping steam and every distant clang of tools against bent plating. Reynolds' shoulder ached where a ricocheted energy bolt had grazed him. Still he pressed on, steadying a lanky four-armed engineer whose mid-torso wounds still bled a deep violet fluid. A medic gestured for him to step back, but the human stayed until the patient was secure. Only then did he let out a long breath. Lixia noticed the tension in his face. You should rest, she urged. Not yet, he answered. There's more to do. Together they reached the triage ward, once a quiet study hall, now filled with low cots and soft monitor lights. The air smelled of antiseptic and the sharp temps of melted circuitry. An exhausted healer waved them over. We need fresh coolant for the life support rigs, the healer rasped. The main depot is 3 corridors away, but the gravity plates, they're flicker. I can't send the small drones. We'll go, Reynolds said at once. Lixia nodded, and they set off. Along the way, they passed shattered light fixtures and piles of broken equipment swept into neat rows for later salvage. The station felt wounded, yet all of its living walls already sprouting tiny shoots to mend cracks. Every detail reminded Reynolds that this place was more than metal. It was a living promise of unity. Down a darkened stairwell, they found the depot, cold and dim. Flickers of failing gravity tugged at their steps, making each stride uncertain. Reynolds steadied Lixia as they floated for a heartbeat, then landed again with a clumsy thump. Inside, rows of coolant canisters glimmered blue under strobing emergency lamps. Take 2 small ones each, Reynolds said, testing the weight. The canisters were heavier than they looked. Even in partial gravity, they strained his injured shoulder, but he gritted his teeth and lifted. Lixia's smaller arms trembled, yet she matched his pace without complaint. Halfway back, the gravity plates failed entirely. They drifted upward, canisters bumping into the ceiling. Reynolds reached out, hooking a boot behind a railing blade. "Hold on to me," he said. Lixia slipped her free arm around his waist while keeping her grip on the cargo. Using short bursts from his emergency thruster pack, Reynolds pushed them forward, guiding their floating cargo like balloons through a silent, flickering tunnel. At last they reached working grav plates again, dropping onto solid floor. Lixia stumbled, Reynolds steadied her, and together they hurried the rest of the way. In the ward, healers cheered quietly as fresh coolant flowed through translucent tubes, restarting his quiet pumps and stabilizing critical patients. Only then did Reynolds allow himself to sag onto a low bench, sweat cooling on his brow. Lixia sat beside him, passing a cloth to wipe the grime from his face. Her fingers brushed his temple, light and careful, and he felt the warmth of her touch cut through the chill of fatigue. "You didn't need to carry both canisters," he said softly. "We were faster that way," he replied. Lixia studied him, emerald eyes reflecting the soft monitors. "Speed is not always the answer," she murmured. "Sometimes sharing the weight keeps everyone stronger." He glanced at her bandaged hand drawer from gripping the coolant handles. Regret flickered behind his tired eyes. "You're right," he said. "Next time we balance the load." A distant chime echoed through the corridor speakers. The pirates had fled beyond sensor range. Around them, defenders exhaled relief. Some smiled weakly. Others sank into sleep where they stood. Hours later, with casualties stable and fires out, the council summoned key defenders to the high atrium. Reynolds arrived in a borrowed tunic, his uniform stained beyond repair. Lixia stood beside him in her silver robe, now scuffed but still luminous. The council leader addressed the gathered crew. "This night our station faced shadows, yet light met them, light forged by many hands." The elder turned to Reynolds. "Captain of Earth, you fought for lives not your own. You led where fear could have ruled. For this we offer our thanks." A soft chorus rose as the council bowed, an honor rarely given to outsiders. Reynolds felt heat in his cheeks. "I only did what any of you would have done," he said quietly. "Perhaps," the elder replied, "but your choice proved your heart." The council gifted him a slender bracelet grown from living crystal. It shimmered with subtle hues that echoed his pulse. "A sign of shared purpose," the elder said. Later, as dawn-like light returned, Reynolds and Lixia walked to the observation deck. Below the curve of a nearby nebula, painted lavender waves across the spilled. Repair drones glided around the hull, stitching wounds like quiet surgeons. Reynolds rested his hands on the rail. "When I first stepped aboard, I thought this assignment was a burden," he admitted. "Now I'm not sure where duty ends and home begins." Lixia leaned close, her shoulder touching his. "Home is where you choose to stand," she whispered. "Tonight you chose to stand with us." He turned the crystal bracelet on his wrist, watching colors dance. "I chose to stand with you," he said, voice low. She smiled, soft and bright. Silence settled, not the uneasy kind but the peaceful hush of mutual understanding. Below them, fresh lights flickered to life as power grids reconnected, and the station seemed to breathe again, stronger for the night it had survived. Reynolds exhaled, feeling the ache in his muscles fade beneath a calm he had not known in years. He didn't know what challenges lay ahead, more pirate threats, lingering distrust, the vast unknown of merging to very different cultures. Yet as the artificial sunrise painted their faces gold, he realized he was ready to meet those challenges. Because somewhere between shared danger and shared hope, he had found more than duty. He had found a bond rooted not in orders but in choice, nourished by courage, and now growing like the living walls, quiet, strong, and full of promise. 5 full cycles passed after the pirate attack, and the floating station felt calm again. Repair drones finished their work, new vines sprouted across patched walls, and the water gardens sang with fresh life. Yet inside Captain Reynolds, quiet storms still moved. He woke early on the 6th day, boots soft against the moss floor, and paced the curve of the observation deck. Distant stars winked, but their light did not ease his restlessness. Orders from Earthfleet had arrived during the night. The message, sealed and official, glowed on the slim screen in his hand. Captain, Reynolds returned to flagship Aurora at once. Deliver full report on alien station customs. Do not accept permanent bond agreements until command review. He read the lines 3 times. Each word felt like a stone in his chest. He had expected instructions, but the tone-cold distant clashed with the warmth he had found here. He closed the tablet and slid it into a pocket as footsteps approached. Lixia stepped onto the deck, her silver robe brushing the floor. Dawn-like lights painted her pale skin soft gold. You could not sleep, she said gently. No, he admitted. Too many thoughts. She studied his face, then pointed toward the horizon window. Come, the council will meet soon. They have something to ask of you. Together they walked to the central hall. Along the way, station residents greeted Reynolds with nods and smiles, small signs of belonging he never would have imagined a week ago. He answered each greeting, though his mind raced ahead. In the hall, the 7 council members waited beneath hanging lantern plants. The leader, tall and calm, spoke first. Captain Reynolds, your service during the attack showed courage. Now we wish to offer you a seat on our upcoming peace voyage. A hologram bloomed above them, an image of a gentle white star and a nearby moon covered in glassy lakes. There will be a summit here. Many worlds will send pairs to speak for unity. We ask that you and Lixia attend as our bonded envoys. Reynolds's pulse quickened. It was a great honor, yet Earth's orders echoed in his ears. The elder continued, we know your home fleet may call you back. We do not hold you, only invite. The choice is yours. Silence settled. Lixia's gaze touched his, steady and kind. He cleared his throat. May I have time to think? Of course, the elder said. The ship departs in 2 cycles. Outside the chamber, Reynolds walked fast, mind twining like the vines overhead. Lixia kept pace. Earth wants you back, she guessed softly. He stopped beside a small fountain. Water danced over smooth stones. Yes, he said. They fear quick promises. They want me to observe, then leave. Her hands folded before her. And what do you want? He looked at her. I don't know. I never planned to be bonded to anyone, let alone a stranger from another world. But now the thought of leaving. He paused, searching for simple words. The thought of leaving feels wrong. A soft breeze stirred her robe. Then come with me, she said, voice barely above a whisper. Not by command, but by choice. If you choose the summit, you choose us. If not, I will still respect you. He reached out, brushing his fingers against her wrist. How can you trust me that much? Because you stayed when danger came. You carried our wounded. You share the heavy loads. Her smile held a gentle strength. Trust grows when 2 hearts walk the same path. Reynolds exhaled slowly. Earthfleet will see this as sentiment over duty, maybe. Lixia lifted her gaze to a skylight where tiny lights formed pictures of constellations. But sometimes duty is to listen to your own heart first. That evening, Reynolds activated a comlink to Aurora. The holographic form of Commander Ellis. Appear tall, sharp eyes. Uniform crisp. Captain, Ellis said. You received the recall. Yes, sir, then prepare to depart. A shuttle will arrive within 12 standard hours. Reynolds took a breath. Sir, I request delay. The station council asked me to attend an interworld summit as their envoy. It is 2 cycles away. I believe my presence could strengthen future relations. Ellis's expression tightened. Your orders are clear. Respectfully, Sir, Reynolds said steady. My first-hand engagement. Enti here could open doors Earth has not approached before. I ask for temporary leave to complete the summit. Afterward, I will return with deeper insight. Silence crackled through the channel. Finally, Ellis replied, 1 cycle extension. No more, fail to return, and you forfeit command status. Understood, Reynolds said, though the words felt like ice. The comlink closed. Reynolds lowered his head. 1 cycle, barely enough time to travel and speak. Yet a chance all the same. Late that night, Lixia led him along a hidden spiral stair to a small observatory bubble perched high on the station rim. Clear panels surrounded them on every side, revealing the galaxy in breathtaking detail. Nebula colors drifted like slow rivers. Meteors traced silver lines across black. No hum of machinery reached this height. Only the quiet of infinity. Lixia touched a panel, and star maps shimmered around them. My mother brought me here when I was young, she said softly. She told me every bright point is a hope waiting to be met. Reynolds stared at the endless sky. I once looked at the stars and only saw targets on a map. Now I see possibilities. She turned, placing her hand over his heart. Then let this be our promise. Whatever path you choose tomorrow, we meet it honestly. We share the weight, and we keep hope bright. His throat tightened. Gently, he clasped her hand. I promise. For a long while they stood together in silence, the universe swirling around them. He felt her steady pulse beneath his fingers, felt his own match it. Somewhere deep inside, decision took root, quiet, firm like a seed ready to break soil. That when they finally walked back down, dawnlight shimmered at the corridor edges. The station stirred. People, human, alien, many kinds prepared for a new day, and Captain Reynolds knew that by nightfall he would speak his choice aloud. Either he would step onto the Earth Fleet shuttle and carry only memories, or he would board the peace voyage with Lixia and carry a future still unwritten. Either way, the next part of his life was waiting beyond a single, simple word: stay or go. Dawn settled over the alien station like a soft silver veil. In their shared quarters, Captain Reynolds sat on the edge of the mossy bed, listening to the gentle splash of the hidden waterfall. His uniform lay folded beside him, ready for whichever journey the day demanded. The crystal bracelet on his wrist glimmered with his pulse steady yet faster than usual. Soon he would speak his choice, and everything would change. Lixia entered, carrying 2 cups of fragrant tea. She did not ask what he had decided. Instead, she offered the cup and sat beside him. Her quiet presence felt like calm wind before sunrise. They sipped in silence until Reynolds placed the cup down, stood, and faced her. I will go to the summit, he said. The words left his mouth like stones lifted from deep water. Earth gave me 1 cycle, or we'll use that time to stand beside you. Lixia's smile grew bright and warm. Then we walk the path together. She rose, touching the bracelet gently. This will guide you. Remember, it's light even if fears speak louder. They left the room and moved through waking corridors. Station workers nodded, pleased to see them side by side. Repair teams dismantled emergency lights and restored soft lantern plants. Children chased small glowing insects, laughter echoing against living walls. Life had claimed victory over fear. In the council hall, the 7 elders awaited. Reynolds bowed with respect, then spoke with clear, simple words. Elders, I accept your invitation. Lixia and I will attend the Peace Summit as envoys for this station and for Earth. A hush swept the chamber, then gentle light rippled across the ceiling, a sign of collective joy. The eldest bowed his head. Your choice honors us. May this union carry hope. Yet another task remained. Reynolds needed to inform Earthfleet. The communication center buzzed with activity as translators balanced signals between alien frequencies and human tech. He requested a private channel, and soon Commander Ellis appeared again, in shimmering light. Captain Ellis began, your shuttle arrives in 12 hours. Report to Dock 4. Commander, Reynolds said, voice steady. I have accepted a role as envoy at the summit. The council ship departs in 6 hours. I ask permission to travel there, represent Earth interests, then return to Aurora immediately after. Ellis's eyes narrowed. You risk exceeding your extension, I understand. But 1 personal witness can build more trust than 1,000 reports. Let me prove it, sir. The commander studied him. Long seconds passed. Finally, Ellis exhaled. Very well. Attend the summit, Captain. But you must transmit your report within 24 hours of arrival, then depart for Aurora without delay. Any failure in command will recall you by force. Acknowledged, Reynolds replied. Thank you, sir. The channel closed. Tension eased from his shoulders. There was risk, but also a door opened. The peace vessel docked at the far rim of the station, sleek and white. It resembled a curved feather with living vines woven through its hull. Inside, walls shimmered with faint star patterns, as if space itself walked beside the travelers. Lixia and Reynolds boarded amid delegates from 10 different worlds. Each pair wore small symbol pins, unique shapes glowing with soft light. Lixia fastened a new pin on Reynolds's chest, 2 interlocking spirals, human blue and alien green. Spirals mean growth and meeting, she explained. The ship eased free of the station, engines murmuring like distant waves. Through broad windows, Reynolds watched the station shrink to a pale jewel set against black velvet. He felt a pull in his chest, both homesick and hopeful. Journey time to the summit moon lasted only a few hours, but the vessel became a floating classroom. Delegates gathered in shared lounges, traded stories, and tasted each other's foods. Reynolds spent time with a crystalline being who spoke by chiming notes, then with a gentle reptilian pair who brewed spiced broth that warmed the soul. At every stop, Lixia stood beside him, translating subtle gestures, explaining customs, and in turn letting others learn human greetings. The days of suspicion that once shadowed corridors seemed far away now. Curiosity replaced fear. Near final approach, the moon appeared its glassy lakes, reflecting the parent star like scattered mirrors. The landing site shimmered with platforms grown from living stone. Breeze carried a soft salt scent across the water. The summit hall rose at the edge of a wide lagoon. Vines sprouted from pillars, forming an open dome. Each delegation took seats in rounded tiers around a central circle, where speakers would stand. Above, skyfish glided in slow arcs, leaving ripples of light in the pale air. Reynolds and Lixia waited for their turn. When the council elder announced them, they stepped forward together. A hush settled over the hall. Reynolds' heart pounded, but his voice remained calm. "Friends," he began, "I once thought strength came only from shields and weapons. Yet in recent days I learned strength can also be a steady hand offered to a stranger." He spoke about the pirate attack and how many species stood as one defense. He spoke of vines that healed metal wounds and of laughter shared over unknown fruit. Simple words, no grand speeches, only truth. "Peace," he said at last, "grows like a seed in open soil. We can choose to water it. I choose to water it, with my people's help if they will follow." Lixia continued, her clear voice weaving images of unity, roots of different trees joining beneath the soil, sharing water, holding ground strong against storms. Her words painted hope without erasing hardship. When they finished, silence lingered. Then, slowly, representatives began to rise, first one, then another, offering the double spiral gesture that meant "we hear you." A low chorus of agreement filled the dome. Skyfish dipped lower, flashing silver like falling stars. That evening, delegates mingled along the lagoon. Moonlight turned the water to liquid glass. Reynolds walked the shore, thinking of Aurora's deadline behind him. Lixia's footsteps murmured on soft sand. "Earth will call you back soon," she said. He nodded. "But I will return, I promise." She faced him, eyes reflecting starlight. "And I will wait." He unclasped the crystal bracelet and slipped it onto her wrist. "Keep this till I come back," he said. "It carries my promise." She touched the crystal, which glowed faintly with her pulse. "Then the light will guide us both." They stood together, watching distant clouds drift across twin moons. Somewhere far away, duties and deadlines waited. Yet in this moment neither thought of endings, only of the path built between two hearts, stretching across the dark like a bridge of quiet light, strong enough to carry hope into whatever future awaited them. Asked ChatGPT.